again. Can dust it off and try again, try again. Is it the first you don't succeed?
Good morning. How are you this lovely day? We're January 1/13 already. Near half of the month is gone for January. Can you believe that? How time flies. I'm still getting over my Christmas vacation at work. It's kind of proven to be difficult to get back into it. So for all those that are kind of in their heads still on Christmas break, I have sympathy for you. So today I'm going to go back and cover the Temple of Vespasian and Titus again. And the reason is both videos, episodes 10 and 11, and 11 covers almost the entire video on the Temple of Vespasian. And I also got a comment on the podcast last week that, while I'm talking about the temples of Rome and the Roman Forum and stuff, I haven't really mentioned about who they're named after, the emperors of Rome. So, I didn't even really think about it. So I thought I'd go ahead and kind of do a redo and talk about the emperor again this time. Also, we've got if you can join us on at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We're going to talk about Nick Saban's retirement. And if you don't know who Nick Saban is, he's the head coach for the University of Alabama, Crimson Tide. He announced his retirement this week, and he's considered the GOAT. That means the greatest of all time. And so I think it's important that we cover that in the Table Talk podcast. So, and his successor, they've already picked the new head coach, and he's already traveled to Tuscaloosa, Alabama last night and made his presence known. And there was a huge welcoming crowd as late as it was. I mean, it was like, 9 o'clock at night. So they were there to greet him and his family. So please join us at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on the Table Talk podcast. All right. For today, we're going to cover the Temple of Vespasian and Titus. And let me go ahead and pull that up. All righty. And if you remember from last Saturday, this was the image. There's not much left of this temple. So, but I'm going to just kind of cover it and then kind of cover the emperor that it's named after. So let's go ahead and review the episode 11, which kind of talks a little bit more about the Vespasian. So I'll catch you on the other side.
It was begun by Titus in 79 AD after Vespasian's death and Titus' succession. Titus's brother, Domitian, completed and dedicated the temple to Titus and Vespasian in approximately 87. The temple of Vespasian was in the Corinthian order, hexastyle and prostyle, that is, with freestanding columns that are widely spaced apart in a row. It was particularly narrow due to the limited space, measuring 33 meters long and 22 meters wide. In a constricted space between the temple and the concord, a small two-story vaulted room, made of brick and concrete and lined with marble, was built against the wall of the tabularium, and apparently was dedicated to Titus. The Basilica of Santi Cosma e Damiano is a church in the Roman Forum, parts of which incorporate
All right. Let me get a cup of coffee. McDonald's. You know, when I went to McDonald's this morning, I live in Los Angeles, California, and I don't know where you are. If you're in Alabama, I'm sure it's a lot cheaper, but I actually paid $7.36 for a McDonald's sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. I was shocked. When I first came here to California, I could buy the same product for $3.23, something like that. So that shows you just in a few short years how ridiculous inflation has devalued the dollar. So that really shocked me. When I went to restaurants in the past, like a steak dinner at O'Charlie's or somewhere, you could pay, $12 to $15, and now you're paying $40 plus for the same meal. Wow. I don't know what we're going to do. We can't handle that. But anyway, let's get back to the subject at hand. We're talking about the Temple of Vespasian Titus. So I'll just briefly recapture or recite what I did last week. So the Temple of Vespasian, again, it's located in Rome at the western end of the Roman Forum on the west side, between the Temple of Concordia and the Temple of Saturn. It's dedicated to the deified Vespasian. He was an emperor of Rome, and his son, the deified Titus. It was begun in Titus in 79 AD after Vespasian's death and Titus's succession. Titus' brother, Domitian, completed and dedicated the temple to Titus and Vespasian in approximately 87. The importance of the temple was throughout Roman history. There was always an emphasis on increasing the fame and glory of a particular family. In this case, it's the emperor's family, often through monuments commemorating the deceased. Therefore, the temple was constructed to honor the Flavian dynasty, which comprises the emperors of Vespasian, 69 to 79 AD, Titus, 79 to 81, and Domitian, 81 to 96. Historians have questioned whether or not Titus and Domitian really had a good relationship, however. Domitian ensured the deification of his brother into the imperial cult in order to exalt the prominence of the Flavian name. So he followed through on the tradition of that. And Titus and Vespasian were each deified through the ceremony of apotheosis. In doing so, tradition guaranteed that Roman citizens and subjects would honor Vespasian and Titus, or at least honor their genius as Roman deities. The emperor cult worship was as much of a sign of allegiance to the emperor of Rome or as a political diplomatic gesture as it was a formal religion. The structure of the Temple of Vespasian, was in the Corinthian order, Hexa style, that is, with a portico 6 columns wide, and prostyle, that is, with freestanding columns that are widely spaced apart in a row. It was particularly narrow due to the limited or confined space. It measured 33 meters long and 22 meters wide. In a constricted space between the temple and the Temple of Concord, a small 2-story vaulted room made of brick and concrete and lined with marble was built against the wall of the tabularium and apparently was dedicated to Titus. All right, that's all I'll talk about as far as the temple, because we covered that last week. You can go back and review episode 10 for any more detail. So now what I'll do is turn that off and put the emperor. Okay, so we're talking about the Temple of Vespasian, and to my right is a picture of Emperor Vespasian. Let me get. Okay, so his reign was from 1st of July of 69 AD to the 23rd of June 79 AD. And his predecessor was Vitellius, Emperor Vitellius, and his successor was Titus, Emperor Titus. He was born Titus Flavius Vespasian on 17 November 9 AD, and he was born in Valacranium, Italy. He died 23rd of June 79 AD at age 69. He's buried in Rome. He had his spouse was Domitia the elder, and she died before 69 years of age. And Canis, she was a mistress and later concubine after his wife's death from 65 to 74 AD. And I guess he had a son named Titus. That's called an issue. All right. Let's see. He ruled as part of the Flavian dynasty. Emperor Vespasian ruled for the Roman Empire for 27 years. His fiscal reforms and consolidation of the empire brought about political stability and a vast building program. Vespasian was the first emperor from an equestrian family and only rose later in his lifetime into the senatorial rank, the first of his family to do so. Vespasian's renown came from his military success. He was legate of Legion II Augustus during the Roman invasion of Britain in 43 AD and subjugated Judea during the Jewish rebellion of 66 AD. While Vespasian besieged Jerusalem during the Jewish rebellion, Emperor Nero committed suicide and plunged Rome into a year of civil war known as the Year of the Four Emperors. After Galba and Otho perished in quick succession, Vitellius became emperor in April of 69 AD. The Roman legions of Roman Egypt and Judea reacted by declaring Vespasian their commander, the emperor, on the 1st of July 69 AD. In his bid for imperial power of all of Rome, Vespasian joined the forces with Mucianus, the governor of Syria, and Primus, a general in Pannonia, leaving his son Titus to command the besieging forces at Jerusalem. And Premius and Mucianus led the Flavian forces against Vitellius, while Vespasian took control of Egypt. On December 20, 69 AD, Vitellius was defeated, and the following day, Vespasian was declared emperor by the Senate of Rome. Little information survives about the government during Vespasian's 10-year rule. He reformed the financial system of the Roman Empire after the campaign against Judea ended successfully, and he initiated several ambitious construction projects, including the building of the Flavian Amphitheater, better known today as the Roman Colosseum. Through his general Agricola, Vespasian increased imperial expansion in Britain. Vespasian is often credited with restoring political stability to Rome following the chaotic reigns of his predecessors. After he died in 79 AD, he was succeeded by his eldest son, Titus, thus becoming the first Roman emperor to be succeeded by his natural son and establishing the Flavian dynasty. All right, so that's all I'll talk about that. Yeah. All right, now let me pull the map just to kind of orient you where the Temple of Vespasian. I'm gonna get a separate copy. I don't know what it's like where you are, but here humidity is very low, and your throat gets dry pretty quick. All right, good copy. So here's a map. Now, and I forget which episode it was. We had a sketch fab model. That's like a 3D model that we covered all of these, and we've cited it in a couple other episodes. But to the lower right, this is the circle area. This is the Roman Colosseum. And as you proceed westward, slightly northward, you'll see a blue dot at the other end of the Roman Forum, and this is the location of the Temple of Vespasian and Titus later. All right. So, yeah. Cool. Well, I think since we're kind of rehashing, citing the same material from last week, I'll call it as far as the Vespasian Temple. I'll let you go ahead and view the video again just as a reinforcement. So let you watch the video, and we'll catch you on the other side.
It was begun by Titus in 79 AD after Vespasian's death and Titus' succession. Titus's brother, Domitian, completed and dedicated the temple to Titus and Vespasian in approximately 87. The Temple of Vespasian was in the Corinthian order, hexastyle and prostyle, that is, with freestanding columns that are widely spaced apart in a row. It was particularly narrow due to the limited space, measuring 33 meters long and 22 meters wide. In a constricted space between the temple and the concord, a small two-story vaulted room, made of brick and concrete and lined with marble, was built against the wall of the tabularium, and apparently was dedicated to Titus. The Basilica of Santi Cosma e Damiano is a church in the Roman Forum, parts of which incorporate
All right. So next week we'll cover that church at what was discussed at the end there. So that'll be episode 12. This is series. Roman Forum is a 20-episode series. So next week will be number 12. All right. So at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, please join me for the Table Talk podcast, and there we're going to discuss now former head coach of the University of Alabama, Nick Saban, and his legacy. He's considered by many circles in the sports world for college football and professional to be the greatest of all time. Of course, that's always questionable between people. But I'm from the University of Alabama. That's where I graduated, alumni, and I'm from Alabama, if you can't tell from my accent. So for me, in addition to Paul Bear Bryant, who is the greatest of all time, Nick Saban is definitely right up there in the GOAT circle. And he was there 17 seasons. So we'll miss him. We welcome him good journeys going forward. As I understand it, they are giving him an office in the stadium complex that he can retain. And so we'll look forward to see what brings to his future later. So please join me at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. It's beautiful here in Los Angeles, a little nippy, a little cold. And from looking up on the East Coast, from Chicago, Iowa, into the northeast, I feel for you guys. I mean, that looked brutal on the television, so we'll keep you in our prayers, and just be safe out there, okay? And for those that are voting in the caucuses in Iowa, I hope you enjoy it. Woo. All right, so that'll bring this podcast to a close. I hope you join us next Saturday on the Portal Podcast. And y'all take care, my friends. See you at 10 o'clock on the Table Talk.